It's the FooRcast. I'm Gavin Ford.
Mackie.
Double T.
So, what subject are we talking about this week then, gents?
Last week we touched briefly on releasing records and what we do and what we've done previously and had success with. So we thought this week we'd talk about, with it being the end of the year and going into a new year, how we plan as FooR in 2023. We go through our plan, what we did. It's one of our best years. Well, 2024 was our best year for streaming, but 2023 was the first year we saw real growth in years. What we did, what worked, what didn't, what we change, and how people can use that going forward for themselves. And also, Double T will talk about what he did this year with his plan. We'll see what we can draw as like things that 100% worked for everyone and what didn't.
Yeah, we probably should start with 2023 because I based a lot of my 2024 on how successful your 2023 was.
There you go. So this makes sense. So technically, if you're listening to this and you follow us from these 2 years, your 2025 is going to be live.
So, how did it all start in 2023 with the plan and stuff?
Well, it all started, if you remember, at the end of 2022, we were going through a little bit of a writer's block. We weren't really knowing what we were doing. We'd come out of lockdown. We were going back into shows again. Shows were different. We were trying things. We were a little bit lost.
Yeah.
I think
Different
it's fair to
styles
say.
and sounds were popular as well. So
So much had changed in such a short space of time. And we started working on an album before lockdown and then come out of it. And then I just think so much had changed. That album maybe wasn't as relevant as it was going into it. So if you remember, towards the end of 2022, you made a load of instrumentals.
Yeah.
And that sort of fired us up again a bit. And we started just going in with just loads of different vocalists. We were hunting them down left, right and centre. We found Wavy So from a video. You found a girl in New York.
Yeah.
Avaya?
Yeah.
Various girls in Southampton, just pulling in friends, people we knew. And just did so many sessions, just absolutely hammered out. As soon as we sort of got that bit of direction at the end, we hammered it out, and then we probably got like 15 records together. So what we do, if someone's watching, every year from October, earlier on in our career, we keep going all the way till the end of January, because December, January, everything quiets down, so it's a lot easier, especially if you've got like a full-time job. You get Christmas time off. There's that gap in between Christmas and New Year. You don't even know what day it is.
And that the music industry kind of shuts down because all the Christmas songs come back out, don't they?
Yeah, all the Christmas songs shut down, and so it's a really good. We've always took that acted that we as a time that we're just gonna stack music. So we got probably 13 or so records together. We got them in a playlist, and then we just went round to people that we trust. Obviously, that's one good thing about being a group is there's 4 people to go through, and then obviously where we work at a label, there's Owen and other artists on the label that you can sort of thing. So we got
Feedback.
got feedback, and then we got a list of these sort of everyone's sort of preferences, and then we got like a release order ready. But what we did is, because we and as many artists out there, so many artists we speak to or we see or you see people moaning on TikTok. Obviously, we're a record label, so we think is content. We used to love content, but I think content's changed to a point where, especially back then, we didn't really know what our direction was, but we thought if you've got a song coming out regularly, it forces you to do content, because you got to do, this is coming soon, this is out now, this is that.
Yeah.
Forces you into a routine.
Yeah, so we thought if we release every 3 weeks, which is the maximum you can do, allowing yourself to pitch to Spotify, that's going to force us to do coming soon, out now thing. That was the theory.
Yeah.
And it would keep us busy rather than going, oh, okay, what we're going to do next or what we're going to do. And like, we found that if we weren't releasing music, we weren't posting anything. So if we release loads, we'll do more content, was the theory. We did that, but we started in March with Nights of Our Lives. And we did that, and it took off. And then, as I say, when we're releasing records, which we weren't doing back then, but what we do now. So if you're an artist, the content thing's definitely relevant. Like if you don't like doing content, the releasing does force you to do it, because out now's, I've just made this, is coming soon. All of this stuff is the easiest stuff as an artist to make. Obviously, however you choose to deliver it. But what we do now is, which we didn't do back then, so 3 weeks is probably, I think, too close together.
Yeah. Would
be the first lesson that I've sort of learned. By the time one's come out and you're sort of saying, oh, this is out, and you've moved on to the next one.
It doesn't give the track time to breathe either. By the time you've spent so long trying to get an audience to listen to one thing, you're then taking their attention away straight to another thing, almost within a week of it coming out.
Exactly. And also, I always feel personally, I don't think other artists feel like this is like kind of like as soon as you start promoting the next record, it's like you've forgotten about the last one. You're like, oh look, I've looked at this new one, listen to this new one, and it's like I've spent ages on this song. I still want to push that one.
But if you're trying to be a break through as an artist, is there a point where you should actually release every 3 weeks?
Well, you need to be consistent when you're new. You need momentum. Momentum's really important. But it's that, say with a singer like Wavy Soph, you need longer because she's just written this, just recorded this. What do you think of this? Like that's a 2-3 week process in itself. So if you got the next song out by the time you haven't even done it thing. With what we've been doing recently is which we touched upon last week. So what we do is we release the single. You do all your coming soon. I'm in the studio. All of this. What do you think of this type of content? However you deliver it. Then you release the single. You let it go for a week. We always let it go for the first week with no thing. Let the algorithm and the release radar do its thing. So then you can sort of gauge from that, from the other records released, how popular this one is. Has it been taken? Think, go, okay, this one's got a bit of momentum, and it sort of allows us to think how much we're going to put into it. Then what we've been doing is with the drum and bass records, because we're making vocal drum and bass, which is not as clubby, more stream led. We release the extended versions on SoundCloud, but you have to go through Hyped It to download. You have to like the track on Spotify, follow on Spotify, the original, the streaming one. Yes. So because my theory is people aren't going to go to Beatport to buy it, or they're more likely to discover it through SoundCloud than they are through Beatport and Juno. I think people are going through top 10s, top 20s, looking at artists they know, looking at things, or listening for records that they've already heard in clubs. So that's one thing.
The exchange there is that you're giving the track out for free, but you're then getting their follow.
I was to say, what's the main gain from that then?
By the time the next release comes around, they're seeing whatever it is in their release radars.
Yeah, it's pushing. You're following on Spotify. You're liking the track, which after the first week of Natural Momentum's has taken off. The second week, the extended mix is giving it a thing, and also it's all extra content. I've just dropped the extended mix for free. I've got a free thing as a thank you. However you want to deliver it, then that's another week. That means people are saving the track. They're following on Spotify, which is adding to the algorithm. Then the second week, we do a bootleg. Exactly the same thing. You have to like on Spotify, like the track on Spotify, and then that's the third algorithm thing. And when we did Banquet at the end of 2023, they released a track towards the end of the year. November, and then we got a remix done in December. And then at the start of the year, they did a Murder on the Dance Floor bootleg after the Saltburn film, which went viral. You had to like the original on Spotify for that, but that was the perfect thing. That doing the remix, doing the thing, because again, it's all content. Because the Murder on the Dance Floor thing went so viral, we set the thing up, we put some spend on it because it was viral. It just sent their algorithm crazy.
Yeah.
And then it sends the whole of their catalogue went absolutely mental.
Still flying, and now they've got a track out with Window Kid, General Levy, like he's just gone mad, and that's part of that same strategy. So the second week bootleg, again, it's more content. Just made this, what if this person was drum and bass? What if this person? All that sort of stuff. Like it works as much as people don't. Some people frown upon it. It works. It's almost like a cheat code doing it that way, because even though you're exchanging the bootleg for the Spotify follow, the Spotify play, it's such a quick way of building up followers on there. And with some of our smaller artists, people like Ashton, who came in at like 0, building them up a following so quick. So when they do get their releases out, it's going to so many more release radars and getting heard by so many more people. Yeah,
because when we release in dance music, we treat audiences. DJs are here, and then streamers and normal listeners are here. They want different types of music, and also different types of... They want to download stuff to DJ, and these people want to listen to music they like. But these people hear the DJs play it. So bootlegs, as much as people moan about them, DJs are more likely to play... Like if they hear an edit of a record they know by an artist they don't know, they're still going to play it because the thing bangs. Yeah. We played last night, and we started with a guy called Lockers. He's done a remix of Funky Town.
Yeah.
And it bangs, and it does it like he's got some amazing originals coming up as well. But at the moment, he's not out yet. Things we heard the bootleg of it. Doesn't matter who's done the bootleg thing.
Yeah, we're playing it.
Yeah, so that's driving the audience. So then you're at week 3. If the record's really going well, then you could get a remix done.
Yeah, how do you know which one's to remix? Is it just if they've picked up on that third week?
You gauge him from that first week, from that release thing, potentially. You can kind of hear that this is going to be a good one to remix. You have to gamble. I think you have to gamble a little bit with the remixes because
you want it to come out before the next thing. But also, also saying that you can still bring out records and come back to, because of the way the algorithm works. You could do the bootleg, and after the bootleg, then you go, this is my next single, which we did after Oh No, we did the Tengu single, and then afterwards we did the local remix. And then we start pushing the local remix. Even though I said about people move on afterwards, because people consume content like this, they're swiping up. There's not like a date to it. They just see, oh, there's a local remix. Oh, there's a tune with Tengu. They don't know whether it's old or, you know, how old it is. There's no date on it. So that stings. But also, you could also waterfall it, where you do the next single pushes back to the first one. If you've got one song that you really, really believe in, you can just keep pushing back to it, whether it be a remix, a bootleg on SoundCloud, the extended version on SoundCloud, or you make it waterfalling, which is we said about before, which is you make it the second song underneath the first song that you're pushing. Yeah. So we set that out for every 3 weeks. I think one of the weeks was going to be Kenya Grace single, which obviously Kenya Grace went massive like a month after our one was scheduled to be released, so it didn't come out. So we pivoted and we did If I Found You, which did well, but that sort of disrupted the 3 weeks in the plan. But I think we still released fairly consistently. I think we probably released one a month
with the bits in between with the bootlegs and that, it still keeps your schedule busy. You're always making content for
with the bootlegs things. But I think we went up 150,000 monthly listeners extra in that year, and this year we done again similar output, but we actually collaborated with a lot more people, collaborated with different producers on the label, different artists.
Also though, what we obviously released drum and bass, but we released garage stuff as well. So what issues do you have with your like making cross genre material? We
get this question a lot with artists coming up on the label, and we obviously, as artists, you just want to go in and you just want to experiment, don't you? You don't want to, like, sometimes you just want to try something new, and then you can get into this stuff that you love, I think.
Do you think though, to start off with, you should just stick with one genre and then cross genre later on?
Yeah, I think to start you should have a clear path for this is what my sound is, especially if you want gigs, because the promoter's going to want to go, oh, this is where this person belongs on a lineup, and this is the sound they play. But I think going down the line, I think the Spotify algorithm is so good that it detects this artist is making this genre, and these people listen to this artist when they make this genre, and these people listen to this artist when they make that genre. Our drum and bass numbers and garage numbers reflect that an average drum and bass record will do X and a garage record will do that.
Right, yeah.
So it kind of like, it's not confused, it seems to pick up the sort of same similar numbers. Obviously, some bigger drum and bass records go mad, some garage records go mad, but as an average, you can say, okay, a medium performing drum and bass record is going to do this, and a medium performing garage record is going to do that because of the market, and Spotify figures it out. But I think, yeah, if you're just starting, you can confuse people. Especially, I think with every artist, when you start, if you imagine every artist, people discover you, whether it be from the bootleg or from the streaming experience. They go, oh, I like this, and then the next song is completely different and completely different genre. You're going to go, oh, I don't know what's going on here. So I think you need to be like, right, I like, this is my one, and then the next one, oh, I like this, oh, and I like this one. And I don't know what the theory is, but I reckon if I hear 3 or 4 songs from someone that I like, then I start to go into YouTube and trying to research them.
Trying to find them properly, yeah. I did that. I picked the sound that I wanted to make and started just releasing lots of that. And then when I wanted to experiment with more garagey or drum and bass or 140 stuff, that's what I use my SoundCloud for and use the bootlegs for, because people will find them just as a one-off track.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think if you're just starting, that's a great place to experiment. And also, as I say, I see DJing and streaming, as we said earlier, as 2 different audiences. So you could have something that goes off on SoundCloud as a trial, and then if it takes off, you can put it on Spotify as a different audience, because it's DJs that are downloading the SoundCloud. If you go on to Spotify,
you see a lot of comments on bootlegs and stuff like, "Oh, when's this going on Spotify as well?" Don't you? Like. Yeah. So,
and when you did your plan for 2024, which is based off the plan we just spoke of, what did you take from ours? What did you do for yourself?
Same sort of thing, where I spent the end of the previous year getting all my tracks together. Before, I kind of just released tracks with splice vocals, which I don't think there's anything wrong with, but I wanted to get more unique vocals and work with actual vocalists. So all the tracks are with real life vocalists. Sent them all out to people I trust again, asked them their favourites, and in the same way, I don't think you mentioned, but with Nights of Your Lives, that was one that everyone had in their like top 3s. So find out which ones were the most popular. So for mine, it was On the Low, the track with OK. So we started with that. Straight away got remixes done by Tengu and Jamie High on our labels. Scheduled them out so they always met the pitching dates. And then just sort of went through the year with a release every 3-4 weeks. Kept bang on it with the content, free downloads, linking back to the Spotify follows and the the track that was out at the time. And I think it makes it easier in terms of planning your content as well, because you always know you have a time frame throughout the whole year of what you need to be promoting and when. And I think from the start, rushing some of those releases out with just the 3 weeks to move into having a 4 week in between means you have a bit more time after the release comes out to push back to it. Because as you said, with content these days, some people might see the out now for a song that came out in January in March and won't realise. So it's important to keep promoting it afterwards. And it has worked because my numbers have gone up. I'm on 5,000 on SoundCloud. My monthly listeners on Spotify went the highest they've ever been last month. So it's a formula that definitely works. Like you said at the start, follow these steps.
Yeah, so I think the steps, if we break it down from our plan and your plan, what the steps are is release consistently, plan ahead, do content around the releases. Obviously, the more content you do, the better. Everyone says that, but we know that artists don't like doing it and aren't comfortable doing it. But out nows, I've just made this, all that sort of basic stuff. If you've got like a release plan, all of that should be easy, and then that should give you at least one a week, maybe 2 a week, and you just keep hammering away. And if you can collaborate with people, if you can get remixes done, and SoundCloud is your friend. Use SoundCloud for experimenting, for bootlegs, for extended versions. Hyped It is a great, obviously, the tool, so it pushes people to Spotify. Hyped It, also you can do ad spend on Hyped It. It's quite easy to do. It does work. It does get it in front of people, but with ads, I always let the song go out and do its thing for at least a week, couple of weeks. Let it find its people, let the algorithm do its job, and then add to it. I think people should be able to make a plan from that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if anyone's got any questions or want us to elaborate on anything further, comment below, like, subscribe, and also let us know if you've done anything similar or you've done plans that have worked differently, or what works for one artist doesn't work for another. Like, it's not a thing. This is just things that have worked for us, guys. But we really want to hear what everyone's done. So yeah,
it's good to share opinions, isn't it? So
exactly. So that's it from us. Voila.